Hey guys, and welcome back to another DOFL Weekend Update. Now, as you can see, we've changed the look of the show just a little bit. Should enable us to provide a little bit more information, a little bit more in-depth analysis. Plus, it provides me a spot to set my drink. And by the way, this episode is brought to you in part by Jim Beam. Now, a lot's happened in this last week. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Before we get into the regular season, let's have a look at those preseason records. As you can see, we had 4 user teams go undefeated in the preseason. Over in the AFC South, the Jacksonville Swagwires and the Indianapolis Colts both went 4-0, followed by the Texans at 2-2 and the Titans at 1-3. Now, over in the NFC North, the Vikings and the Bears went 4-0, followed by the Packers at 3-1 and the Lions at 2-2. Now, the Lions record should have a little asterisk next to it, as Coach Kevin Washington didn't take over until after the second game of the season. Now, games weren't the only thing happening during the preseason. As coaches scrambled to try and build their teams and figure out what was what, a lot of trading went on. The Friday night after the draft, a 4-way conference call took place between coaches Josh Garrett, Trey Wetzel, Jordan Garrett, and Aaron Schoenfeld, resulting in a couple of trades that included Santonio Holmes, C.J. Spiller, and Javid Best, among others. Coach Jordan Garrett also had several trades with computer teams. And with the preseason behind us, it's time to get to the regular season. Week 1 has started, and we've got several games to recap. First up, we've got our human versus CPU matchups. As you can see, the Titans were defeated by the Patriots 23-20. The Lions beat the Rams 13-7, and in a real nail-biter, San Francisco topped Green Bay 3-0. There would have been celebrating going on after the game, but everybody in the stadium was found asleep. And even coach Aaron Schoenfeld, coach of the Green Bay Packers, was found napping in the locker room before the fourth quarter was over. Now we move on to our player versus player matchups, which you would hope would be very tense and exciting, but however, were completely lopsided battles. As you can see, the Jacksonville Swagwires topped the Vikings 63-15 for a margin of 48, while the Colts topped Chicago Bears by a margin of 49, winning 70-21. Now, we're not entirely sure what these horrendous losses could mean for both teams involved, but at least for the Minnesota Vikings, it could mean a quarterback controversy. It's been reported that quarterback Tim Tebow has been placed on the trading block, and his days are limited as quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, you might wonder if Tim Tebow's performance in the first game of the season was really bad enough to merit a change this early in the season, but as you can see, he had 5 interceptions, he did rack up 221 yards, but went a mere 13 for 43 throwing the ball. Now, we caught up with the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, Josh Garrett, to ask him where the Vikings go from here and what does this mean for Tim Tebow. Let's have a listen to his response.
Well, disappointed. We gotta go back to practice on Monday. Get ready for Indianapolis next week. Got another tough matchup. The quarterback position is something we'll talk about during the week. I'm not really sure what we're going to do yet. We don't have a decision made. We'll obviously go to practice and see who the best man is at the end of the practice on Thursday night. And then get ready to walk through and look forward to the game against Indianapolis. Defense has got to get better. I got to do a better job of coaching. All-around disappointment.
Now, it should be noted that while there's very bad news on one side of the ball, there's very good news on the other. In the same game that Tim Tebow choked, running back C.J. Spiller set a new NFL single-game rushing record with 316 yards. Congrats to him. We caught up with head coach of the Jacksonville Swagwires, Trey Wetzel, to get his response on C.J. Spiller's new record.
Oh, my gosh. Are we happy with that one or what, folks? That was a good one, right? The Vikings defense had a bigger hole in it. I could have parked 2 school buses in it, but C.J. found that for us, and, man, I'm proud of him. What a performance by that guy. I'm not surprised. You guys may be surprised, but I know that guy. He comes into work every week. Good young man, hardworking young man, comes in and just tears it up every week in practice, and that's why he was our starter in week 1. And he really beat some guys out for the job, and I think you can all see why. And I know the Vikings can definitely see why, and I'm sure they're glad they don't have to play him again this season. But hey, as a team. We weren't without mistakes. We weren't perfect. We've got to get better in some areas. We're in a really tough division, man. There's some real heavyweights in this division, and we're not going to get by those guys as easily as we did the Vikings. But we're going to get to work. We're going to get to work Monday and iron out some things, and I can only see things getting better from here.
Now, for that other player versus player game, we actually have field reporter Trent in Indianapolis as we speak. Let's go to him now.
Freezing my dick off.
What's that?
Trent? Oh. Trent? Hey there, Troy. Sorry, didn't know we were live yet. Well, as you can see, I'm here outside of Lucas Oil Stadium, which was the site of a very anticipated matchup and one that was actually delayed for several days. People literally waiting on the edge of their seats for this one to start, and once it did, the Chicago Bears and Coach Thad Smith probably wished it hadn't. In fact, the game is over, and we all know what the score was, but the more interesting story coming out of Indianapolis tonight is that Coach Thad Smith was actually absent, missing from the traditional midfield coach-to-coach handshake, and nobody has seen or heard from him since. So everybody's looking for him, officials are looking for him, and we'll try to stick by and let you know when we get more information. But for now, I got to get inside. It's cold. All right, Troy, we appreciate the information. Get inside, buddy, and warm up. It should be noted that we actually do have some breaking news on the Coach Thad Smith situation. Turns out Coach Thad Smith was found in the arms of Minnesota Vikings head coach Josh Garrett in the bathroom on the floor of a local Denny's restaurant. The two were reported to have been holding each other and sobbing wildly. We understand that both of them have been hospitalized and put under suicide watch for their protection. And on that note, I think it's time to end this edition of the DOFL Weekend Update. Good luck with your games, guys, and see you later, assholes.